So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to yet another exciting local history TV show with myself and also with, as ever, our local history guru, David Sawyer. Come and say hello, Dave.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everybody. Yes, history guru. I've been called many things in my time, but a guru. It remains to be seen. Let's see how many facts I can get right on this one with talking about Watford Football Club.
Yeah, now Watford Football Club. Now, I must confess, I've lived in Watford all my life, but to be honest, the football club has not been massively high on my priorities. If you're talking table tennis, I could bore you silly, but football, I've never really been into it because I've been playing table tennis and I wasn't really doing anything like in the football thing. But we're going to be talking about Watford Football Club today. Now, when I was a lad, there was Watford Town as well. Watford Town Football Club. Now, I don't know, because people used to say, "Oh, I'm playing for Watford Town," and it was like there must have been another team in another sort of non-professional capacity that played under that guise. But I never really ever got to the bottom of what it was. Do you have any ideas on that one?
I haven't. I did see something on Facebook quite recently about two teams, including Watford Town, that amalgamated and finally became Watford FC. So it was a start with two local teams. I think almost factory teams, as it were. I mean, this is what we talk about in Link for Growth, isn't it? About what's missing now, the social side of the factories that we used to have, the sun printers and things like that, which would have all had their own football teams. And then going on to the larger picture by playing for what would be deemed a more bigger or slightly professional club, and then amalgamating to form the actual Watford Football Club. I mean, we have a picture here of Watford Football Club going back to the 1906-07 season.
Do you want me to share my screen and get these pictures on? Hang on a sec. Let me do that, and then we'll see what we've got. So is that? Can you see that?
We can see that. That's come up nicely. Thank you. Yeah. This is to say the 1906-07 team, and you'll see right in the centre there the cup. This cup was from 1905 season that ended with Watford winning the United Football League. So it must have been one of their first ever trophies. And the kit has changed somewhat over the years by the look of it. Hoops in this instance. It's a black and white picture. I can't see that they might well have been any yellow and gold in there or yellow and black as current team is. But
United Football League. I mean, what on earth is that?
The United Football League. It must have been something precursor of the Football League in some thing, or one of the non-professional leagues like we have at the moment. You know, that dwell below the third division.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at football boots there, and I remember wearing boots like that when I played. Big high ankle boots and bash the studs in with a hammer.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because when you first started playing football, it was like a leather ball, and when you headed the bloody thing in the rain, it nearly knocked you out.
Yeah, at times you come home from a football match and you actually look like you're a bit of Frankenstein. You've headed the ball right on the laces, and they go right across your forehead like you've been stitched up. And yeah, I'm surprised more people weren't injured with a ball playing in the wet.
Well, you used to get whacked by it on the legs in the winter, and you used to with a red mark.
Like blazes, didn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. If you got it in the gingangs, you're really in trouble.
Yeah, you didn't want to be in the wall in front of a free kick, did you? In any way, shape or form, because that ball's going to hurt you wherever it hits you.
Well, I watched a bit of footage of George Best playing the other day, and the state of the pitches. How the hell he managed to dribble up the pitch?
I know. I mean,
it was so boggy and muddy. It would have been horrendous.
I can remember playing schoolboy football and actually trying to get that ball to move in the wet on the ground, which is now sort of soaked and just mud, you hit the ball and it's not going to roll, it's going to virtually stick where it lands. So passing became a very fine art. You had to make sure your player was very close to you.
That's right. So that was a really early team there, and then and the stands in the background look a little bit amateurish compared to today's stands.
They do. I can come on to the ground, talk about the ground a bit later, but what I've got here, my next fact that I've delved into in 1917,
right,
owing to the fact that Watford were excluded from the London Combination and London Combination League, and West Herts Club and Ground declined to continue to rent them the ground, and the director of Watford decided not to have any fixtures that year and give football a rest in 1917.
Well, it was just after, well, the war was going on then, wasn't it?
That's what was still going on at that time. And so they decided they weren't going to play any football. They didn't have a ground to play on. So it became more imperative that they got a ground of their own.
So how did that come about then, the football ground?
The football ground, I think, again, having been excluded because they didn't have a ground to play on, they must have got into negotiations with I think, well, the ground used to be a gravel pit, which seems unlikely in the area we're in.
Yeah, we've got a picture of that, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a picture of that one. Let's have a look at that.
There we go.
Right, in the foreground, you can see Schrodell's Hospital.
Yeah, some bits of that still there by the sounds of it.
But I think they are. I think I've been in one of those wards, and I felt like I was back in the day. I mean, we're talking. When are we talking on this one? 1922.
Right.
We're at this stage. So the gravel pit is going to be turned into Watford Football Club, and that should mean to say that the ground had some pretty good drainage. There's an amount of gravel that was remaining there.
So which is Vicarage Road here then?
Vicarage Road is on the left-hand side. If you look at there's a slope towards the left-hand side of that picture, and that's Vicarage Road at the top of that picture, going along the side of that.
Right. So Vicarage Road is the if you're looking at the gravel pit, it's on the left-hand side up that little hill there. You've got that stretch of grey that runs along. That's Vicarage Road, is it?
That's going to be Vicarage Road. I mean, if you're looking at the position of the hospital and the ground, as we know it, then Vicarage Road is on the left of that. It looks like, when you get to the top there, when you get to the little one-way system, it doesn't look like there's one there.
Well, there wouldn't have been a one-way system in 22, would there?
No. And that just went across Cassio Road, didn't it? Cassio Road, and then into I went around Farrelling Road, that's it. And then into Cassio Road, and then Vicarage Road continued off up to what is now the Ring Road. So, and that wouldn't have been there then either.
Not many cars on the road there in that picture.
No, I'm just wondering what these markings are around by the hospital on the ground.
Well, they look like just almost decorative flower beds, don't they? Of some description.
So it's not a helipad for the air ambulance, that's for certain.
No. Well, that's right at the bottom end of the hospital. Of course, that's now, what's that, a car park and God knows what else down there, isn't it?
It is now. I mean, the new entrance to the hospital will be open on the 16th of this month. Where you come out of the car park presently from the hospital into I think it's Willow Road, and then onto Vicarage Road. That road is going to be closed. It's going to be a no-through road.
So I thought this new road meant that you couldn't use it.
Originally when they were designing it, it said local people won't be able to use it, but thanks to Richard Harrington getting involved, it's now been decided we can, because this is going to be the way into the car park.
Well, you've got to get into the car park somehow, haven't you?
Oh yeah, if you come down Dalton Way and across Wigan Hall Road, just past the Wigan Hall Road junction, turn right and then turn left, and you're in the car park. You can still come in as a disabled driver from Vicarage Road, and it will be in and out again in Vicarage Road. You don't go around to the main car park from there. where you've got disabled parking, and you'll have short-term or short stay up to an hour car parking when you get round to A&E.
So you can still come in on Vicarage Road?
You can still come in off Vicarage Road and you can still go out Vicarage Road by the right next to the football ground.
Yeah.
But to actually come in and use the short at the car park, you have to come in off the new Thomas Sawyer Way.
Right. Okay. Well, I can't quite picture out where that's going, but I suppose it comes up from Wiganall Road.
Just come up Wiganall Road and you turn left just after that junction.
If you're going out of Watford, you turn right. If you're coming into Watford, you turn left. Is that right, or is it?
There's only one way. You can't go past there. Once you get to that turning right into towards the car parks, the rest of the road then is purely for ambulances.
Right.
So if you turn right into the car park, which is the only way you can go into it, and then turn left into the main car park. If you turn right, that's the staff car park.
Oh, okay.
And coming out, turn left back onto Thomas Sawyer Way, and then either down and go up Wiganall Road or carry on up to Dalton Way.
I guess it'll all become clear when we have to make our normal and regular visits down there. So that
you're not both.
Most people will be incredibly surprised to see that picture. That's a very interesting picture, isn't it?
I mean, who would have thought there was a gravel pit there in the first place?
Yeah, well, can't complain that the drainage is rubbish, can they? If they filled
it's got to be absolutely brilliant there, thinking about it. Right, can we move on just slightly? That when it was opened, a party of journalists were invited by the directors to inspect the ground.
So this is the...
No, you're a bit previous on that one. That's the next one. Just the few things, they inspected the ground, and the area of the ground covers about 6.5 acres. And they estimated to have 33,000 people, or capacity of 33,000. 5,000 who will be undercover, and a grandstand holding 1,400. Doesn't sound very many for that size ground, but we have to bear in mind today grounds are all seater, and back then when the stadium was first built, it was actual stands. You stood at either end of the ground.
I remember standing in the grounds watching I don't know whether it was a cup semi-final or something years and years and years ago. I must have been late teens, I guess. And yeah, it was all stands, metal barriers and stuff. Actually, quite a lot of space in those days because Watford were pretty grim in them days.
Yeah, well, they have been, but there you go. We go on to that next picture.
Sorry, yeah.
All right, this is Sir Stanley Rouse. He inaugurated a Fitness for Service campaign in 1940, and this took place at the ground. As we know, one of the stands was named the Rouse stand in his honour. He was a great figure within football and also for Watford. So it was great to start such a campaign. I mean, obviously, fit for service is got to be 1940. We're talking about fit for service during the war.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it really being servicemen, but looking at the pictures of the people there that would be partaking, they don't look in the first flush of youth, shall we say.
No.
I'm wondering if the fit for service might have been something like a Dad's Army, the Home Guard, of that ilk. Basically, just looking at the picture, there's no one particularly young. Mind you, in 1940, most of the youngsters have been called up by then.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I don't know what those 4 people are doing standing around him, but anyway, they don't look like spring chickens, but certainly the guy to the left doesn't, anyway.
The one to the left in the white jumper, or left as we look at it, one in the white jumper, he looks like he might be a trainer of some description with that jumper on. The sort of thing that they would have worn in those. The other gentleman, obviously in suits, might be someone from the ministry or something like that.
Yeah, far right. He looks a bit like John Cleese. Not tall enough, but
a little bit. Just we'd tell better if he was walking.
Yeah.
But Stanley Rouse sort of stands head and shoulders above the rest of them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Amazing figure. Right. Okay. Now we can move on a bit nearer to where we are now, 1967. And here we have Watford jubilant and celebrating losing 3-1. But it's not humiliation. They gave it their best, and they were really outplayed, obviously, with the 3-1 result. But who are they playing? They're playing Liverpool. And 67 Watford were a fairly low division club. That is. But
and this was in what year?
1967.
Right.
And Watford came out to loud applause from a capacity 54,000 crowd. Now,
I mean, how do you get 54,000 people in there?
Well, mind you, if you think about it, when going back to the White Horse final at Wembley, where the capacity of the ground there was 100,000, but they managed to squeeze in close on 150,000 for the White Horse final. That's why everyone was spilling out onto the pitch. But I'm wondering actually whether it was actually at Vicarage Road or whether it's up at Anfield, because Anfield could probably hold 54,000 quite easily.
What's the capacity of the ground today?
Capacity of the ground today, I think, is about 24,000.
Again, but we'll have some people on the here going 24,635 or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, please, I won't swear to any of the facts and figures I give to you. I'm here to be hit by anybody who knows better than me, and I don't profess to be the world's champion on Watford, but I like looking at the very, very different facts and figures that I've been finding here in Rook. I mean, we know.
I knew a couple of guys that used to play. I mean, I used to go to Rolls-Royce Sports and Social Club, and there was a guy there called Stephen Bell who used to go. He was a year or two older than me, but his dad was called Bobby Bell, and him and his mate George Catlow used to play for Watford. So these were two. I mean, just regular guys. You know, I think they were like. They were playing for Watford. They must be playing for Watford into their 40s, I think. And they would just like roll up. I think they got paid something, but it was a bit like Barnet, where you got paid.
Yeah. Well, paid, I don't know, like up until I think it was the early 60s when Jimmy Hill was chairman of the Professional Players Association. And at that time, there was a wage cap on of £17 a week. And he thought this was not a very good idea, and he fought and won and got the wage cap lifted, and hence we see now things like, I think it was Gareth Bale, who's playing for Real Madrid, has been being offered a contract of £750,000 a week.
Well, I know that the Watford players, I think, well, the captain's on 70 grand a week or something like that. But anyway.
Well, yeah, and good luck to them. There's a lot of us that would turn around and say, well, if that's what you want to pay me, I'll take it. It's actually what you do with that at the end of the day that matters more than anything else. And we know there are those out there. I mean, look at what David Beckham's done for football all around the world. He's set up all his academies and things like that to help the youngsters, which is a great idea. But you talk about going to the Rolls-Royce Club and meeting a couple of Watford players. Not many people obviously realise, but I have a company called Superb Chauffeurs. But before I started that, I was with Elite Cars, Hertfordshire. And we provided a chauffeur service. And we had very gratefully a lovely man working for us by the name of Luther Blissett.
Good old Luther Blissett. Luther Blissett used to say, to dribble into the box and fall over the ball.
But no, it was great to have him there. And it's a shame he didn't stay with us longer, but he went on to better things. I think the last time I saw him, he was a pundit for Sky Television at Watford games, which is great. Good luck. He deserves it. Right. 1982. After 3 years in Division 2 and the previous year in Division 3, Watford finally won promotion to the First Division for the first time, 1982. And I think I can remember at the time, shortly after I moved to Watford there, but we had some friends round, and think Watford won the playoffs to get the promotion to the first division, and the town went wild. It's absolutely fantastic, and to actually see Watford in the first division, I understand. I think that they were FA Cup semi-finalists or finalists and ended up second in the division, which was absolutely incredible.
Something like that. I mean, I was just out of my teens then, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a mercurial rise. That third to the second to the first. And then we're talking.
Was this under the? Was this in the days of what's his name? The guy that went on to be England manager.
Oh, Graham Taylor.
Yeah.
It sounds about his era. Not that was.
In actual fact, interesting thing. Let me just share my screen once more because I have another view. So let's go there. Oops, let's just do that. And get rid of that. And right, so on here, can you see that screen now?
Your Southwest Herts district, yes.
Yeah. So if you scroll down here on the right-hand side, what I've created now is you see that local sport.
Yeah.
And there's Watford FC history. Now there, let me get rid of that presentation and let me get rid of that there. And let me drag that link up so you can see it. So in here is club stats archive from 1881 to 2016.
It's a long-standing club, isn't it?
Yeah, so in here they've got all the managers. And so if you look at the managers, we can just confirm that. So what did you say, 1982?
82.
So actually that was S.J. Perryman by the looks of it.
Graham Taylor.
Where is it? Yeah. Graham Taylor, 1977 to 87. There you go.
Was Graham Taylor? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So,
and funny enough, chap after that, Dave Bassett, lovely man. I used to play cricket with him many years ago over in Ruislip. Lovely man, and also playing with him.
So what I'm saying is that if you're really curious about all those stats, just head over to that Southwest Herts page and we put a link on now so you can get all the Watford facts and figures and we can check against Dave's figures later on.
Right, well, let's move on again to 1987. And Watford came back from a tour to China. And China, it wasn't China they came back with, it was a cup. They won the Great Wall Cup, beating the Chinese national side 2-0.
Right.
So they've got this history of winning cups, ones that we've never heard of, and not like to hear of again, but they came close last season again with the FA Cup, losing semi-finalists. And it's good to see them doing well and holding their own at the moment in the Premiership.
Yeah.
If the viewers care to look at this, here we go.
Look at that. Well done, Dave. Yes, I see sporting the old Watford thing there. Is it black and white, though? Have we got that black and white?
Black and white, yes. It's not club colours. I could have worn my away shirt, but I thought this one was more apt as we were just talking about getting into Premiership.
Yeah. So is that an old shirt or is that just a new black?
This was when they came up. Was it last season? Yeah, when they came up last season. As they got promoted last, the end of the season before, and last year in Premiership, and this one as well. The last thing I've got here is in 1986 in June. So Stanley Rouse died, unfortunately. Again, having been having a lifelong lifetime in football, which was capped in 1962 when he was appointed president of FIFA. And I don't recall hearing any scandals about him like we did and still are with Sepp Blatter and the like. a very straightforward and very honest man, and a great ambassador for both for the club and for football in general throughout the world. Brilliant man, and just great that he was associated with that with Watford.
What was his link to Watford then?
I think he spent time there and did a bit of coaching and goodness knows what, but he was originally asked to be a linesman. So he actually started off as an official in football. So which was good. And he just built himself up, a referee, and then obviously to join any of the associations with it.
Was he ever a player? Did he play?
I haven't found anything to suggest he was a player, just that he was a great ambassador for the club, obviously, because we had, up until recently, there was a stand, the Rouse stand, named for him, which has now, of course, become the Graham Taylor stand. And we mustn't forget that the new stand is named after our lifelong president, Mr. Elton John, or as I knew him before, Reg White. Again, local man from Pinner, and he's supported the club through thick and thin, and he's given lots of financial assistance to it. Not so much now because the club is more self-sufficient than it used to be, but he was there in times of hardship, and he's still there, and he does occasionally come to the ground and see a match. In fact, my son has been invited to a birthday party in December for the Watford-Everton match, and he will be partaking in some food beforehand in the Elton John suite. So he's looking forward to that and enjoying it from a box stand. He's done it before because I used to have a box stand myself for a couple of seasons. And by comparison to other clubs, and I was offered a box at the Arsenal, at the Emirates ground, which was, shall we say, 6 times as expensive, well no, 12 times as expensive as the Watford one. Because Watford I paid something like £12,000 for 2 seasons. The Emirates was $73,000 for 1 season. So Watford
you could buy a full stadium for that.
Well, this is it. I mean, Watford is an affordable family club that you can go to. I mean, if I wanted to take my son to the Arsenal for one of the top games, you're talking nearly £100 a ticket, plus everything else that goes with it, your programme, your travel, and everything else. So you're not going to get much change out of £250 to go to the Arsenal for 1 game. Whereas Watford, I think you can still get some tickets at £25. So
I know that people were talking 60, 70, so I don't know whether those prices have gone up. Maybe someone would like to comment now. I know if you get a season ticket, it's far more reasonable as an average. But I know that if I wanted to go down there, it's not the club in terms of cost wise, because their costs are so expensive. I mean, you're paying someone 70 grand a week. It's a lot of dosh, isn't it?
It's a lot of dosh, and then you've got to get a lot of sponsors in on that to help pay for it, and of course the fans at the gate will have to pay for it. But I say the price goes up with the quality of the game, the quality of the opposition. I mean, Man United, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, and things like that, and Chelsea, when they come down, they're going to attract the biggest possible crowd. So that gives you very commercially, it will be the costliest tickets, without a doubt. But then if you're playing something like Hull like that, then not such a big attraction. So the attraction to get the people in will be the lower prices, which is perfectly understandable in the commercial world.
Mm.
But it's still better than some of the top clubs, because the top clubs can fill their ground regardless of who's playing against them.
Well, yeah, because you're going to see top players every week, aren't you?
Yeah. So it's one of those things. It makes Watford that much more accessible to people, to the fans, and it's nice to see the new stand there, and hopefully Watford can maintain their position in the Premier League. They moved up again last week, now above Manchester United, which is why Manchester United playing is no great feat.
Where are they? The mid-table or just above?
Mid-table, I think they're 7th or 8th in the table at the moment, which when you consider it, is not a bad thing. You know, if they can stay mid-table, what it will do will help to build up the finances of the club, because when you get the television rights and things like that, then staying there, it certainly helps, and helps to pay the wages at the end of the day.
Fabulous.
But it's also nice to see that Watford help out within the community as well. and they help people with special needs. I know because my son's been down there; he has special needs, and it's one of those things I like about the club. It does give back to the community. He will put himself out for Watford, and we know he visits a very nice cake shop that we're both well aware of, Chris. And
not as much as he used to, I don't think, because he's moved back to Birmingham.
Well, I mean, it might be one of those things that you might have had too many of the cakes.
Well, what are we going to be talking about in a couple of weeks' time, David? Any ideas?
I haven't really thought about it at the moment, but I think we should have a look at Canterbury Park. There's lots.
Okay, have a look at Canterbury Park. I think actually we could also we could have a little series of buildings in Watford, Rickmansworth, Croxley. Just get some pictures together and talk about some of those buildings and maybe their history, because there's so much history in the town.
And you'd be really surprised at the number of listed buildings within the area. And
they've already knocked a load of them down, but
well, yeah.
They had a bit.
Well, they've kept the face of the old Lloyd's Bank, but in all honesty, it was a nice building, but I can't see it fitting in with the rest of the construction. I must admit, not liking the pictures I've seen of the proposed site. And from my point of view, yeah, it could possibly increase the coffers of the council in that respect through business rates and what have you. But I still like to see the independent shops more and more. And by knocking all that down in the high street, we're losing them, and they can't afford to go into a place like into.
Well, we have to make sure that we support things like Market Street, the Parade, and Queen's Road, and make sure that those shops there are well supported, and we vote with our feet.
Absolutely.
And our wallets.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, your wallet will do fine, thank you.
Righty-ho, good stuff. Thank you for doing all that research and stuff. It's been another fascinating walk down memory lane. We'll have to get some guests on, because I know there are people out there who've got some really interesting and insightful history of what's gone on in Watford. You and I, Dave, we're spring chickens compared to some people, and the stories.
And I think our knowledge is minuscule compared to others, and it would be great to have them come and put us right with what we've been saying. And I'm sure some of the things we said don't quite ring true with them, but hey, if it doesn't, tell us and come on and tell everybody else.
Yeah, I really was quite pleased with that picture of the quarry, though, because I had no idea that's what the football ground was.
No, nor have I. I mean, because we've grown up in the area where this is residential more than anything else, this area, and you don't associate it with having a quarry there. So I mean, so close to the town centre. But amazing. But we've lost a lot of things within the town when it comes to industry. I mean, Scammell disappeared, the Sun Printers disappeared, and we've got a lot to look back on. But let's hope we still keep a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, Dave, and thank you for watching. If you have been watching, or I hope you enjoyed it, if you watched it up on Catch Up, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time where we'll be doing this all over again. If you do feel like coming on the show, or you've got some history, or you've got some stuff, or you're a person who's been around for ages and you can share some of your knowledge about what Watford used to look like, or what was going on in Watford in years gone by, please do get someone to help you. Contact us, or contact us directly, and let's see if we can really open up Watford's past. So
it'd be absolutely fantastic, especially if you got some pictures as well to go with it.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks, Dave, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers for now.
Thanks very much, Chris. Bye, everybody.